Thank you very much, Dr. Dipelu.
Nigeria currently loses over $15 billion annually to illicit financial flows, and this is mostly through poorly negotiated bilateral agreements, as well as tax evasion, amongst other factors, which is why this workshop is organized to strengthen the capacity of negotiators for improved terms of engagement with the rest of the world.
It is our great desire that this workshop will be the first of many in the series, so that our country develops a dedicated core of negotiators, people who are familiar with their subject areas, but who are also familiar with negotiating strategy and tactics, so that we can, in the years ahead, develop a core of people who make sure that the agreements we reach do not lead to illicit or unnecessary financial outflows from our country.
Nigeria developed guidelines for negotiations and drafting of agreements as far back as 1989. Well, 32 years down the line, it appears the document no longer holds sway.
We've seen some of this play out in some recent agreements that we negotiated, but it must apply for every sector. This project hopes to come up with a new draft on guidelines for negotiating agreements, international agreements and otherwise, which will be shared with the Office of the Attorney General and the government for consideration. The insufficient skilled manpower that we have generally is one of the reasons for this capacity building program.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshinbajo, who joins virtually to declare the meeting open, is concerned about the ineptitude of negotiators in bilateral agreements and contracts, which he says has cost Nigeria huge financial losses.
One thing that is often missing here at home are clear negotiating guidelines that spell out the steps and processes before undertaking negotiations on behalf of Nigeria in any subject area. And I hope that one of the concrete outcomes of this workshop will be the elaboration of draft negotiating guidelines to be submitted to government for consideration and adoption. It's obvious that outcomes in international agreements and contracts are costly. The billions of dollars involved in cases that we've seen are self-evident and disturbing, especially against the background of poverty in many of the countries that enter into these types of contracts. Every negotiator must realize that he or she is more or less putting the entire nation's prospects, economic prospects, on the table every time you negotiate. And many times, what may appear to be a simple, straightforward negotiation may have severe economic consequences if not properly done.
On the ongoing discussions on climate change, the Vice President says that Nigeria's interest must be considered, as he also advocates transition from dependence on fossil fuels.